Wilbur set a Guinness World Record with his giant tomato plant. Could you be next? If you're like most American vegetable gardeners, 85% of whom grow tomatoes, according to the National Garden Association, you'll soon be trying to figure out what to do with all the tomatoes ripening on your windowsill, in bowls on the countertop, and on the vine in your backyard. Salads will be more than red and green. Your neighbors will grit their teeth as you bestow yet another basketful upon them, and you'll run out of jars from all the sauce simmering on your stove. Imagine then how Crane Hill, Alabama gardener Charles H. Wilbur must feel, eating, selling, and giving away the harvest from his plants, each of which produces an average of 342 pounds of tomatoes. The California Tomato Growers Association estimates that commercial growers harvest roughly 8 to 10 pounds of tomatoes from each plant. Mr. Wilbur gets between 30 to 40 times as much from his. Does he use the secret lab's high-tech supergrowth fertilizer? Hardly. Mr. Wilbur's methods are all organic. Does he plant a rare type of seed? Nope. His best yield, 1,368 pounds of tomatoes from 4 plants, for which he earned one of 3 Guinness Book of World Records, came from the widely known Better Boy variety. So how do you get tons of delicious organic tomatoes with common varieties, and best of all, avoid weeding and hoeing altogether? Just pay attention. In order to become a 3-time Guinness World Record champion, it helps to set your sights high, say 275 feet. When Mr. Wilbur visited California's Sequoia National Park, he stared at the giant tree known as General Sherman for a long time. You see very readily that what nature provides is very simple, he says, and it was all right there. The obvious elements including air, rain, fallen leaves and limbs, weeds, grass, and no weeding or hoeing. Mr. Wilbur decided then and there to try to replicate nature's system and unlock such growth potential in his own plants. The tomato was his favorite vegetable, so he concentrated his research on the red beauties and soon set himself a goal of growing a low foot-tall plant bearing tomatoes from top to bottom. Mr. Wilbur named his first giant General Sherman. There's a photo of 2 trees, but they're actually tomato plants, and Mr. Wilbur is standing on a tall ladder, and the caption says, "Pruning these tall 342-pounders presents special challenges, but Charles Wilbur rises to the occasion." The most important thing is to prevent stress. Charles Wilbur says of growing tomato plants, it's just like with a person. The more stress you get, the worse shape you're in. Pests, diseases, or improper nourishment or moisture will limit growth. To reduce stress, you monitor your plants and their surroundings. Inspect seeds and seedlings before planting. Watch for bugs. Squeeze the soil to check the moisture content. In addition, Mr. Wilbur gave us these pointers. Number 1, good seeds. Wafer-thin seeds are a recipe for disaster. Look for plump, rounded seeds of an indeterminate variety which bear no gene-driven growth limits. He prefers a disease-resistant hybrid like Better Boy, VFN. Number 2, good plants. Mr. Wilbur recommends a plant 6 inches tall with a good solid base, at least 1/16 inch in diameter at the soil line. When you set your plants, pinch off all the leaf stems except for the top pair. Number 3, food and water. Plant a green manure of rye or hairy vetch in the fall and till it into the soil a month before setting the plants in the spring. Start a compost heap the previous season as well. Shredded kudzu is a key ingredient in Mr. Wilbur's remarkable recipe. Apply the compost in a ratio of 1 part compost to 3 parts soil. When watering plants, use rain or pond water, not treated town water, which Mr. Wilbur believes can kill beneficial soil microbes. Water the plants every morning. Number 4, control diseases and insects. Treat the garden like an operating theater. For instance, wash your hands with antibacterial soap and prohibit smoking. When possible, Water and soil should not touch leaves so as to prevent soil-borne and fungal diseases. Cover bare soil with mulch. For insects, 3.5 inches tall cardboard collars protect young plants from cutworms. Austrian peas planted at the garden's perimeter distract aphids, while attracting more than enough ladybugs to patrol both the peas and the tomatoes. The best defense against tomato worms is persuading birds to hang around your garden, in other words, feed them. Number 5. The magic number is 18 branches. For the optimum yield, 6 lower suckers are allowed to grow and split once, 12 branches, while 2 upper suckers are each allowed to split into 3, 6 or more branches. Pinch off unwanted suckers twice a week. Train the vines up a circular cage made from concrete reinforcing mesh with 6-inch squares, 5 feet tall with 18 vertical wires, 1 for each branch. Stake cages to the ground using concrete reinforcing bars. Additional cages can be added to the top as the plant outgrows each one. Mr. Wilbur had to stack 6 cages for his record-breaking cherry tomato. Next image, tomatoes grow well in barrels using Mr. Wilbur's methods, but stresses like cramped roots generally limit the plant's yield to 100 pounds or less per vine. Never weed again. Strawberry mulch is one of the most important components of Charles Wilbur's process. It shuts out weeds, keeps the soil underneath cool and moist, and most important, alleviates the need for hoeing, which can destroy the root system. Here's how Mr. Wilbur sets about mulching. 1. Visualize the area as a tic-tac-toe board with the center square left open. 2. Lay down large squares of wheat straw, each layer a few inches thick and about a foot square, just as it peels off the bale in the imaginary board's outer spaces. 3. Push the blocks tight together so that weeds cannot infiltrate along the seams. 4. Set tomato plants in the center square and cover that soil with finely chopped hay mulch about 1/2 inch deep. Some people may think that Mr. Wilbur's process requires too much effort. Mr. Wilbur says that, aside from the compost and the green manure, preparing the sites as he's described takes only about 6 hours. The rest of the season's work includes mere watering and pruning. So the next time you're pulling weeds in the hot summer sun, consider the double benefits of following Charles Wilbur's wise counsel: a bountiful harvest and less backache. Thank you.